Welcome back to PSA TV. This is Eye on Labor. Right now, I have on the line with me the President General of the OWTU, Mr. Ancel Roget. But before we start our conversation with him, I just want to read to you an article that was done in the newspaper, which says that Mr. Ancel Roget will serve another term for the OWTU after he was nominated unopposed ahead of internal elections. Nominations day was on July 8th, and according to a statement from the union, the new executive committee was nominated unopposed for 2019 to 2022 term. Returning to their posts are Ancel Roget as President General, Sati Gajuda Innis as Second Vice President, Marcus Cordner as Vice President. We have Peter Burke as the Vice President, Richard Lee as General Secretary, Chandar Singh Ram Singh as Treasurer, and Ozzy Warwick as Trustee. If I could just say good morning to you, Mr. Roget.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Roget, and welcome to PSA TV.
Yes, good morning to you, Christy, and good morning to all of your viewers and listeners.
How are you this morning? I know you've had a busy morning.
I'm good. It's a good Friday, the end of a marvelous week for the Alfield Workers Trade Union, and indeed for the working class people of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm good, excited, grateful.
Yeah, how do you feel about all the developments with regards to, you getting another term as the president of the trade union?
I think that it is significant, Christy, given the fact that there are a lot of, confusion and a lot of perception about confusion also that surrounds the trade union movement as we speak. And therefore, for the Alfield Workers Trade Union to have given a mandate for its top leadership, the executive leadership, to serve for yet another term in the context of all that is happening, that is significant because what it says is that we can now focus on the core task ahead, which is to deal with all of these anti-worker, anti-people policies emanating from the government directed at poor people in this country.
Yeah, I would have been chatting with Mr. Clyde Elder from the CWU before your phone call here, and I don't know if you're aware of the developments going on with TSTT, and they are now headed to court with regards to negotiations.
Well, all of the negotiations, and I say those negotiations in the main refers to long outstanding periods of collective bargaining. That is to say, when you take a look across the board, you go back as far as 07, 2011, 2014 and so on. 2 and 3 periods of collective bargaining for respective trade unions. And it says the government priority has never been to standing negotiations, and what it does, it places these workers at a severe disadvantage, which is compounding on a daily basis because prices and living costs are not standing still. They continue to move, but the workers, they are expected to meet all of these costs and at the same time to produce even more than before. So there's something has to be wrong with that equation. But before I say anything else about those situations, let me just go back to the significance of the OWTU's nomination that took place on Monday, which went unopposed. Christy, it is the 5th term for me and my executive, which started 3-year term, which started in 2008, where my executive would have gone, the entire executive, including its President General, would have gone unopposed from then to now. And that is significant. I think that it is even history in the making because every other President General of the OWTU would have had opposition at some time or another. The other thing is that we have on our executive a woman, a female. She's coming from the Tech situation for the first time. History in the making again. For the first time, you have an executive officer in the person of a woman, a female, representing the Tech workers or the Tech, the commission coming from a branch in South to represent the Oilfields Workers Trade Union. We have a good mix of experience and so on. Of course, that's a young woman.
Yeah.
and a few other young people coming on to the executive, which is quite a lot and augur well for our development and for our going forward. The OWTU chose very careful its president general and its executive. It's not by guess, and therefore this country would have changed more presidents and prime ministers. America would have changed more presidents in a shorter period of time than the 83 years the OWTU would have been in existence. So that is significant.
I think the fact that you are unopposed, or your team remains unopposed for, like you just said, for the past 5 years, it shows a level of confidence in you as the President General and your team, in fact.
And yes, and notwithstanding the fact, we do admit that we did not register success with all of our endeavors, and of course, we would have um, had some areas of dissatisfaction. But by and large, given the context in which this union is now asked to requires to operate, in the context where the government would have landed its best blow, and the OWTU continue to remain standing strong. They felt strictly that the closure of Petrotrin, and mind you, they did close Petrotrin. They felt that with the closure of Petrotrin and sending all of the workers home, the OWTU would have fallen. There can be nothing further from the truth in that regard, because we are still standing strong. And that is why our elections, which was due in January of 2020, we took the position that tactically we need to get that out of the way so that we can focus on all of the issues relating to workers, issues, outstanding negotiations, unemployment as it is, the failing economy, and all of those things. Going into communities and talking with unemployed people and having them understand that the problems they are experiencing is a direct result of the inability of the government or the unwillingness of the government to treat with their situation, and in preference for treating with the 1%.
Going forward, what are some things that you may have planned for your upcoming term as President General?
Well, in the immediate run, we have to deal with the fallout of Petrotrin, which
Yes.
is to say that there are a significant number of issues that are before the court now. The Petrotrin workers, in accordance with their terms and conditions and the collective agreement, they were not compensated adequately. There are a significant number of casual and temporary workers and workers who, with under 10 years of service, did not get anything at all, despite the lies being told by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy. They did not get anything at all, and all of those matters, the pensions issues relating to Petrotrin and other workers where OWTU has RMU status, all of those things are to be dealt with. The University of the West Indies negotiations, UTT, where they want to retrench workers. This government is on a roll, retrenching workers daily. In fact, they are on record, breaking record for the government who would have seen and approved and aligned themselves with the most amount of retrenchment in the shortest space of time. Thousands and thousands of workers would have gone home under this government. And so it is all about focusing on the outstanding issues, that which I mentioned and that which I did not, but dealing with workers' issues and, of course, dealing with the macro issue at the level of JTOM to treat with the direction that this government has plunged this economy into. And as a result, we have people suffering on a daily basis. And at the same time, you have a very small elite group in the country continues to benefit.
Interesting. I just wanted your comments on some announcements made by the Energy Minister on a platform. I think it would have been in Point of Pay, if I'm not correct.
Point 14,
Point
I think it
14,
was.
I stand to be corrected.
Yeah.
In Point
Yeah.
14, with regards to the bidding of the Point 14, the Petrotrin,
For the,
the Petrotrin
for the,
refinery.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And he would have, kind of hinted that an international company was going to take over.
Yeah, yeah. But you see, again, Christy, what occurred there is that the minister let the cat out of the bag. What he did is, one, he would have stated the process, a process that has not been completed yet, a process which the OWTU's company, Patriotic Energies and Technology Services Limited, is involved in solely for the purpose of bidding for the acquisition of the refinery and all of the connecting assets at Point of Pierre. And so while we are in that process, and it requires non-disclosure agreement, that is to say that no one shall disclose the intricacy of or any part thereof of the process, the minister is there on a political platform talking about the process, violating the NDA, but more importantly, pointing to an outcome that has not yet been decided
Yeah.
based on the same process. And we took serious umbrage with that, and well, the rest is history because we would have communicated to the national community, hey, here you have people engaged in a process, a bidding process, but the minister is pointing to who he favors and who he thinks has already, or will very likely, I can quote him saying, would acquire the asset. And he went even more specific to say under what terms and conditions they will acquire it, under some lease arrangement. Now, something has to be wrong with that. And then coming after him to speak on the same platform and did not correct him, and did not correct him thus far, is the Prime Minister himself. It tells you that something is amiss, and one will not be surprised for a particular outcome. But if that occurs that way, well, then rest assured, we will treat with that accordingly. And then may I also say for all of the listeners and viewers that the OWCU's company, Patriotic Energies, would have engaged our lawyers in looking at what was said, how it was said, where it was said, and its intent and so on, and the danger it may have posed to the process, and to determine the way forward legally in terms of that.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us on the phone this morning, Mr. Roget, and congratulations on behalf of all of us here at PAC as well on your way forward as you continue to be the President General of the OWTU. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to coming into your studio sometime.
Yes, we hope that's sooner rather than later.
All right, yes, thank
All
you.
right, thank you so much. All right, so there we go. Just an update there from Mr. Roget on his upcoming stint as the President General of the OWTU, being unopposed again for yet another term for 2019 to 2022. And previously, we would have been chatting with the Secretary General of the Communication Workers Union that issue they're going to court. Well, it's on that note, we've come to the end of today's show. That's all we've got time for. On behalf of myself and all of us here at PSA Media Room, here's wishing you a safe and blessed day.